This month so far has been a head scratcher, but there have been some updates that I want to bring you now versus later that will impact things to come. So let's dive right in. The biggest thing that I want to hit on right off the bat before we get into the charts is that the Federal Reserve came out the other day saying specifically they still expect rates to be cut 3/4 basis point cuts, 1/4 basis point cuts for a total of 0.75, right? By the end of the year. That's huge. And if you looked or watched my video from a couple weeks ago, where I was concerned about what was going to come out today, this was the best case scenario. So, all things considered, my initial forecast for where we see at the end of the year, mortgage rates being around 6%, still stands, which is huge. And honestly, just in the past few days, I've seen activity on some of my listings pick way up when that news broke. So it really injected some confidence into the equation here. People are starting to get hungry again. So with that out of the way, let's get to the charts. Now we're going to stick a little more high level than usual. So mortgage rates, again, they haven't really changed a whole lot. They're still around 6.5 to 6.75. Nothing's changed substantially in weeks at this point. Inventory, however, is up on the month about 10%, which is awesome. But I'm still having most of my buyers having a very hard time finding a home that fits, a property that fits when we bring price into the equation. Now, days on market is still very stable. We're going to see some changes here in our year-over-year metrics as far as sale prices go, and we'll get into that on each of these slides. And again, I got to move my head out of the way, but we're seeing a trend here in new listings. And this is the one that I always try to take the most time to talk about because it's a huge impact. Over time, yes, things are trending downward. And if we were to look on an annual basis, every March in this case, things are trending substantially downward. But what I want you to pay attention to here is looking back to January of 2023. We see the big jump from December to January, which is fairly normal. We saw a plateau for then February and March in total number of new listings that hit the market. We're seeing a fairly similar trend here. January came in low, but February and March, February happened, right? March is on pace to be almost identical to 2023. And not to pat myself on the back too early, but I did predict very strongly that we were going to see things mirror 2023 pretty closely based off the trends I was seeing. So far, so good. Pending sales, very, very strong. Yes, a little bit less than last year, but all things considered, this would be a solid month considering obviously we have fewer new listings that hit compared to the same month last year. So it's still a drop. It's about 10% off from where the numbers would, normally align 10% when you're talking about less than 100 homes, right? That's not something I'm reading too much into. Trending, we're still looking at a stronger year so far compared to the same first quarter of last year as far as pending sales go, which is a very strong, healthy market. Closings, however, we are going to see a jump up compared to last year. Again, lagging indicator, not really sweating this too much. Now, inventory is building, and it's building a little bit more in the single family space compared to the condo space, as is reflected here in the months of inventory, jumping back up to 6. Now, once again, there are a lot of, I'll say, lower end single family homes sitting out there that are around the $1 million mark. That, quite frankly, if this were a year ago, I think they probably would have gone. But that confidence level has changed substantially, obviously, with what's happened over the past year, with election season coming up, with everything that people are talking about. I don't expect a whole lot to change here. The lower end ones will have to come down in price because they're simply not quite worth what they're asking. That's what the market is telling us at this point in time. A lot of high end homes are still going. A lot of good homes are moving fast, but nonetheless, inventory is starting to build, which, if you're looking for a single family home, is good news for you. Price wise, again, we're trickling down again. We're going to see a jump up next month. So there's going to be a very high month that's in this 12-month trending rolling average. It's going to fall off. And based off of what's pending so far for next month, I have reason to believe that we are going to see this increase for the first month in about 9 months. So again, I've been preaching this for the past 9 months. I'm not reading into this. We're not seeing real-time prices drop. It's just the way the data is shaking out. So if, again, single family is your target, your time to shine may be coming up as that inventory builds. It's good to keep an eye out on that. Now, here's again where I think things are going to start to true up a little bit. We're seeing days on market potentially starting to come down again in the single family space as we're finding some equilibrium. And again, I detailed that more in the last market update if you want to dig on the single family world and why those numbers are what they are. But on to condos. So condos, again, we're still very, very strong. This is consistent 4 to 5 months of inventory as prices continually go up. Again, 10% year over year is what we're on pace for at this point to see by the end of the month. That's substantial. much more than many more markets where they saw in 2023 a retraction in prices. Here at the beach, we did not. Now, this one I want to hit on here. So it's looking like a decrease. We've seen this a couple times in the past where month over month, it looks like, oh my gosh, prices are falling. Really, we had a pretty crazy month last month in terms of what the median sale price was in the homes that closed, as well as the month that fell off, right? From 12 months prior was a very, very low month. So you had this, outsized change there that went a very, very long way. Now, days on market still very flat. Quick hitter at the end here. By the end of the month, right, we are seeing fewer homes going under contract, but we're seeing fewer new listings. We're going to see where that takes us in April. This is about the March. We're on pace for about what I expected based off of what we saw in February, which is strong market. People buying quickly if it's a good home and it's well priced. There's a lot of overpriced junk out there that's going to continue to sit. One thing to keep an eye on that is catching my eye extra early this year, there are listings coming where the seller does not want to close until the fall. Usually we don't see those until May or June. So is inventory really growing, right? Do we want to count those as real inventory? I'll leave that up to you. But as far as I'm concerned, again, good homes are still selling quickly. Speed is becoming important again. Multiple offers are slowly becoming more common. That's not to say everybody's getting multiple offers, and we're certainly not getting 10, right? We're talking 2 to 3 good, strong, solid offers. So if you are looking to buy, this is, peak season where most people are buying. Unfortunately, we missed the window here, right? I've been talking about it for a while, of deal season or value season. So long story short, this has been a pretty strong month so far. Looking forward to seeing how things wrap up over the remainder of the month and more excited to see what we will predict based off the trends going forward. I don't imagine my forecast is going to change a whole lot at this point, but never say never. So if you have any questions, as always, you can drop them in the comments or reach out to me any of the ways you see here. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.